Hello everybody. So this worksheet here is going to help you explore quadratic functions. If you haven't done so, please download a copy of this and follow along. This is a series of quadratic functions, and each function is slightly different from the others. You are going to graph these, and then we're going to look for patterns. And hopefully we'll be able to see a pattern that will make graphing these quadratic functions easier. We're also going to look at the different properties of the quadratic functions, such as its vertex and its axis of symmetry. Okay, let's get started. I've done the first one for you. The first relationship is y equals x squared, and I have taken x as -4. We are not restricted to these numbers. However, I choose these numbers for convenience. Hopefully they will, when I graph the points, the coordinates, they will fit on the graph. I've taken -4, and then I must square it according to this rule. So -4 times -4 is positive 16. -3 times -3 is positive 9. Notice our numbers are getting smaller and I'm squaring them. So the next perfect square is 4. -2 times -2 is 4, then 1, then 0. When I go to positive 1 and I square it, it will also be 1. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 4 is 16. So let's graph this. So I am going to start at 0, 0. 0, 0 is right here. And then I have to graph 1, 1. So that's over 1 and up 1. And on the x-axis go over 2 and up 4. Then I'm going to go over to 3 and up to positive 9. Now this grid goes up to 10, so this is positive 9, and at that point I cannot graph this 4 and 16. Because this graph is symmetric, whether you square a negative number or a positive number, if its absolute value is the same, the answer will still be positive. So it looks like there's a bit of symmetry, and I can shortcut this. At -1, I go up to 1. At -2, I go to positive 4, because -2 times -2 is positive 4. And notice it's equally spaced from the y-axis. When I go to -3, I go up to positive 9. And then I will graph. So I'm going to follow along, follow the dots, and I'm just going to eye the next point and look at the next point and sketch the curve. Okay, this is called a parabola. I think I will have to write it here. These are parabolas. And in this case, this parabola has a vertex, a bottom point of 0, 0. That's this one right here. The lowest value in my list of positive numbers here, of squared numbers, is 0. The axis of symmetry is the fold line. So if I were to fold this parabola in half, then this x equals 0 is the axis of symmetry. Okay, so the first one's done. Let's do the next one. The function says square your x and then take away 4. So here is -4. I square it to get the 16 and subtract 4 from it. That will be 12. Then I will take -3 for x. I square it to get 9. 9 take away 4 is 5. So what I'm doing is just taking away 4 from each of these numbers in the previous column. 4 take away 4 is 0. X squared is 1. Take away 4 is -3. Watch your signs. If x is 0, if I square it, it becomes 0, so I square it. And then take away 4 is -4. If I look at x equals 1, and I square it, it gives me the 1. Then I must take away 4, so that's -3. 4 take away 4 is 0. 9 take away 4 is 5, and 16 take away 4 is 12. I'm going to start graphing. It's going to be negative 4 is the x value. Then I go up to 12. Now 12 is going to be off my grid, so I'll just drop that one for now. When x is negative 3, 1, 2, 3 backwards, I go up to positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's the dot. And then notice, because of the symmetry, way down here, x is 3, positive 3, it's also at 5. So there's my negative 3, 5, so I need to go positive 3, it's also 5. Then I'm looking at negative 2, 0, negative 2, 0, and positive 2 will also be 0. If I go to negative 1 or 1, the answer is negative 3, so I'm right here and here. And when I get to 0, 0, negative 4 is the bottom point. And it's going to swing back up. Now notice that if I were to go to negative 4, the function value is positive 12. So it's up here somewhere. Do not cross this line. So it's going to be something like this. And I'm going to swing back up. And not cross the x equals 4 line. Okay, so notice, hopefully you can see the pattern. It's going to be the same shape, but the parabola, this point, drops down 4 units. And that's because all we had to do was take the x squared curve here and subtract 4 from each of these values. The vertex now is still 0 in the x direction, but the y value drops to negative 4. So 0, negative 4 is the vertex, and the axis of symmetry is still x equals 0. Okay, there you go. So now I'm going to do 2 more, one from each of these patterns. So you are going to finish this one. You are going to add 4 to the x squared term, right here. Then you're going to subtract 9 from the x squared term and see what you get for the graph. Graph these on this grid. The first of the next set of 4, and in this case we're going to take the value of x and then we are going to square it, remember your order of operations, and then multiply by negative 1. So negative 4 for x, and I square it, becomes positive 16. And then when I take the opposite, it becomes negative 16. Okay? Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3 gives me positive 9. But this multiplication sign, this negative sign in front, means take the opposite. So this is negative 9. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Then take its opposite, negative 4. Negative 1 squared is 1. Take its opposite, negative 1. 0 squared is 0. Its opposite, it's still 0. 1 times 1 is 1. Take its opposite, it's negative 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Take its opposite, negative 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Take its opposite, negative 9. 4 times 4 is 16. Take its opposite, negative 16. Okay, I'm going to graph those in a few minutes. I'm also going to complete the table of the one below. Now in this case, you are going to subtract 4 from the x and then square it. So here it's negative 4. Negative 4, take away 4 gives me negative 8. Be careful here. Negative 8 squared becomes positive 64. Big number. Okay, that's definitely going to be off our grid. Let me just jump to negative 2 and see if it'll stay on our grid. Negative 2, take away 4 is negative 2, take away 4 is negative 6 squared is positive 36. No good. It's going to be off our grid. I'm going to try 0. 0 here, take away 4 gives me negative 4. Negative 4 squared is positive 16. Still off our grid. Let's try 1. 1 take away 4 is negative 3. Square it is positive 9. This looks better. 2 take away 4 is negative 2 squared gives you positive 4. 3 here for x, 3 take away 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 take away 4. 4 take away 4 is 0, squared is 0. So the question is there going to be a pattern? If I continued, and I'll just try to squeeze it in here, if x were 5, 5 take away 4 is 1, and then squared is 1. 6 take away 4 is 2, and then squared is 2 times 2, 4. So it looks like our bottom value is going to be at 4, and it's going to swing back up again. So let's graph these points. Please pause your video while I graph these points. Okay, so if you have a look at this one, I've joined the points into a smooth curve, and you can see that this parabola is now upside down. So this is a parabola that opens down. Okay, its vertex is still 0, 0, but in this case, this vertex is a maximum point. So I could just show that this is a maximum. I will squeeze it in here. Okay, whereas up here, this one was a minimum point. In fact, all of these are minimum points. And these are going to be all maximums. You'll see that as you graph. Okay, the axis of symmetry, again, my fold line is x equals 0. Now this one, when I graph it, I had to start at 1, 9. Here it is, 1, 9, and then I will join these points. And when I got to 4, 0, I ran out of space, so I just tacked in a few here. Sorry, it's off the screen. I tacked on a few other points, 5, 1, and 6, 4. So it's going to swing back up. And because these are going to be symmetric, if I draw my axis of symmetry here and I count over 3 to that point, which is 9, then I will just go over 3 here and complete my graph. Okay, so the vertex is now no longer 0, 0. The vertex now, if I go over, it's here. In this case, it's going to be a minimum value, I think, for all of these. Yes, all of these will be minimum. And the vertex on the x value will be 4, and the y value is 0. So 4, 0 is the vertex. It's a minimum point because the parabola comes down to it and then turns back up. Okay, the axis of symmetry is different now. The axis of symmetry is x equals 4. So your job is to complete this worksheet, turn off the video now, and finish all the different curves. Please make sure you graph them in different colors.